If you study the literature and talk to the experts on the last ice age, you will find that there are wide differences of opinion over such fundamental matters as the main sequence of events, the chronology and consequences of these events, and even the terminology used to describe them. The very idea of the last ice age is poorly defined and is used differently by different authorities. For some, it refers to the period from roughly 125,000 years ago, when the ice caps of the northern hemisphere began their most recent advance, down to about 21,000 years ago, when they reached their maximum extent, LGM, the last glacial maximum, and then began to melt. Underworld, The Mysterious Origins of Civilization by Graham Hancock. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I have a couple of issues that I want to talk about this evening. One is in regards to President Obama's decision to utilize General McCrystal and give him a promotion in relation to his increased war in Afghanistan. And this is particularly appalling because of McCrystal's involvement in the Pat Tillman death over there in fighting, and what is thought by many to be a case of friendly fire, and which also is thought by many to be the result of continued and repeated cover-ups to perhaps cover up some very blatant, possibly even murderous action on the part of the United States Armed Forces in regards to the death of Pat Tillman. Now, we don't have any answers to this that are satisfying to the family, and they are particularly ticked off that Obama would seek to reward this guy for being in charge and having such a significant hand in the Tillman investigation, and still at this point in time, with several different supposed investigations into this, having no satisfactory answer given to the family who has suffered the loss of their loved ones in, at best, questionable fucking circumstances. As time goes by, even though it's a short time into Obama's presidency, as time goes by, his policies continue to morph and morph and morph into an exact duplicate of the preceding president. And I don't see any major difference between the two of them. I think that because the trend is moving in that direction, you're going to see maybe in another year, maybe even less time than that, you're going to see that Obama is virtually indistinguishable from Bush. And if you remember reading Animal Farm, when the huge denouement, when the animals looked through the farmhouse windows and they finally realized that they couldn't tell the difference between the pigs and the humans. One of these days you're going to wake up and you're going to be looking through that window and you're not going to be able to tell the difference between Bush and Obama. That is for any of you who aren't so completely fucking brainwashed by everything that he has shoved down your throat. So here you have another connection with cover-ups, with chicanery, with illegal activities, possibly murder, being covered up by the armed forces, in which General McCrystal had a part to play. And here you have now Obama giving him a promotion, giving him more authority after being involved in something as disastrous as this, and having failed to give the Tillman family a decent fucking answer for what happened to Pat Tillman. Here he is rewarded. And this is exactly the kind of thing that the left would be jamming down Bush's fucking throat if he were still in office. And yet, you barely get a fucking word out of the left when it comes to Obama's doing the same exact fucking thing. What is wrong with this picture? Well, everything is wrong with it. It doesn't even matter if Obama is the president. This guy should not be fit for duty anywhere because he was involved in this. And if you're in charge, here you are. You're the president of the fucking United States. You're in charge of the military. You're the commander and fucking chief. You want to give some rest to the family? If it turns out that Pat Tillman was murdered by his own armed forces, his own so-called friends, then shouldn't that truth be more important than some political fucking cover-up? Isn't it more important to give the truth to a family who's lost their loved ones? Of course, in the grander scheme of life that would be true, but not in the politics that we have today. And that's why Obama is absolutely no different from Bush. And that's why as time goes on, he's going to slowly be morphing into Bush even more and more and more. Until finally there's no difference between the two. Because everything he does is a throwback to what came before. Another example. Obama is considering preventive detention. Very apt choice of terminology, I would say. When talking about people that are held in Guantanamo and possibly other secret prisons who have expressed a hatred for the United States and Israel, who have declared themselves unfaithfully loyal to Osama bin Laden and have said that America is the great Satan and they will work tirelessly to destroy us. They have been found guilty of any actual actions. In fact, they don't qualify for any sort of trial because there's nothing that they can really try them with. And yet, Obama is considering holding these people indefinitely. No trial, no habeas corpus, all of the things that Bush was absolutely fucking reviled for. Rightfully so. He's doing the same exact thing. He's saying, I'm going to hold these people simply because they don't fucking like us. Now, in the same regards to torture, you allow it out there, that invites it back home. You allow this fucking travesty to happen, then you invite it to come back here. And how long do you fucking think it's going to be before they finally decide they've had enough of you and enough of me saying that I don't like the way things are fucking run and I'm against the fucking government? Before they decide that it's in their best interest to lock me up indefinitely. Screw my fucking rights. If you allow it there, if you allow it anywhere, Guantanamo, secret fucking prisons, if you allow this, if you do not scream against this, then you're virtually saying, I agree that you can apply that to me, because that's exactly where this is fucking heading. They don't like the United States. They don't like Israel. They've declared their loyalty to Osama bin Laden. Haven't done a fucking thing wrong. Nothing they can be tried for. And yet, he wants to hold them indefinitely, no rights. So, if you do not come down firmly against this, and if you do not protest in every possible way you can, then you're saying you can do the same fucking thing to me. When I criticize you, when I put a video out that says, I hate this administration and what it stands for, I guess I could be locked up too. No habeas corpus, no rights. Fuck the Constitution, you're going to jail forever. no reprieve. That is a travesty, as much as the Tillman so-called investigation and McCrystal's involvement and his promotion is a travesty. And that's just two reasons why Obama, Bush, no fucking difference. Thank you. Good night.